My website is spiritualawakeningradio.com. If you go to my website, spiritualawakeningradio.com, and scroll down and look in the column to the left, you'll see an icon image of someone meditating. If you click on the blue meditating man, that will take you to a page where I have an introduction to the mystics of the East, the path of the masters, describing various key teachings, the 7 principles and the 7 things I believe, the 3 levels of satsang. A very valuable page. Just click on the blue meditating man, the Mahavira character, sitting cross-legged in meditation in the lotus position. That image on my website, and it will take you to that page. And it will describe the 5 precepts. On my introductory page about the mystics of the East, I have the 5 precepts, and I've developed those into both vegan and lacto-vegetarian versions to accommodate everyone. Some have switched to vegan in recent years, but other branches of the Sant tradition remain lacto-veg, so I do it that way to accommodate both in one. So you'll see all of those initiation requirements, the 5 precepts, and various key or essential teachings of the masters on that particular page of spiritualawakeningradio.com. The masters come to dispel the illusion in the disciples. It's so easy to have erroneous thinking about so many things. There's a saying in India that goes like this: the mind is a great servant, but makes for a terrible master. People develop all sorts of weird ideas about meditation practice. That it is impossible to get very far in this life, that those saints in past ages are just superhuman beings, larger than life characters. We could never even begin to approach anything like them at all. As if there was some missing mineral, some mineral that was once present on the earth that allowed people to become mystics or great saints, that has been depleted, and so now it is impossible for human beings to accomplish anything anymore when it comes to the spiritual journey or meditation. Weird beliefs of the mind that are self-defeating and self-sabotaging are quite common. Sometimes people sit down for a very brief period and expect to have a magical mystery tour, a super trip, within just a few minutes' time. And that's, of course, a rather unlikely thing to occur. That would be a false expectation. People bring to the equation a lot of mental attachment and clutching and grasping. They seek to have inner experiences. And it's really kind of a Zen thing where if you reach or grasp or clasp trying to grab onto inner experiences, that very desire, that mental pressure or agitation or expectation gets in the way of you actually having a good meditation and having inner experiences. So the mind is a good servant but makes for a bad master. People get all sorts of weird ideas, have a lot of expectations about meditation which interferes with the process of meditation. So living teachers are all about trying to cast out all of the negative thoughts and weird ideas people develop that get in the way of them making spiritual progress during this life. The masters say the sun on the outside is dim compared to the sun within. There is a splendorous sun, says Maharishi Mehi, a sun that is beyond the boundary of the moon, and louder sounds, highly repetitive inside. Maharishi Mehi says, "The sound like the beating of drums and the roaring of thunder are heard in this inner universe. Above Trikuti, or the three worlds, are colorless, shapeless realms where there are only resounding sounds or divine melodies. The true spiritual seeker remains in the yoga of light, the meditation of light, and with the yoga of sound attains the highest realm. In such a shapeless or formless universe, he hears extremely sweet sounds of flute. The yoga of sound cause such wonderful experiences. On getting such a perceptive spiritual master, one knows how to do inner sound meditation. A great thing to have a teacher and to be guided out of the labyrinth of one's mind and all of the false beliefs that one way or another will lead you to a place where you feel it is impossible for me to experience anything much. That's the destination that you reach by following the dictates of the mind. It doesn't work out, I can't meditate, I'm not worthy, this is the age of materialism and it's impossible for people to be spiritual. Some erroneous belief that prevents people from going further. But if we listen not to the dictates of the mind, but to the inspiration of the living saints, the living spiritual masters, we will realize that we can go beyond these limited thoughts and make spiritual progress, go within, see the light, hear the sound, and become connected with those inner realities. And once we do, they will never leave us. What we are attached to in life, we remain attached to in realms beyond. As it says in one of the Gnostic Gospels, if we see the light during this life, we will see the light in the other place as well. In the realm beyond, we will find our way to the light. What we are attached to in this life, we will remain attached to beyond this life. Stay tuned for more Spiritual Awakening Radio after these messages. Spiritual Awakening Radio is heard every week at this time, streaming by way of healthylife.net, Positive Talk Radio. My name is James Bean. My website is spiritualawakeningradio.com. My email address is james@spiritualawakeningradio.com. This week, my focus is the philosophy of liberation, and I'm beginning this series, exploring this book, by focusing on the goals of the meditation practice that one learns if they become an initiate and learn the secrets of meditation from a living master associated with the saints of India, the mystics of the East. We were starting to talk about how meditation is all about focusing one's attention, that one gazes into the darkness. Another technique one learns if they become an initiate, become one trained by a living teacher, mentored by a living spiritual master, and given the instructions on meditation practice, one thing they learn is that in order to help keep one's attention at the eye focus, there is the need to repeat a certain sacred name or combination of names. It's known as the practice of mantra or Simran. It's also known in some traditions as Manas Jap or Zikr. one mentally repeats with the tongue of thought within one's mind various sacred names, whatever mantra your master gives you. One repeats this sacred word or words mentally very, very slowly with the tongue of thought while gazing into the darkness with eyes closed. Another stage, as you repeat this sacred name or names you have been given, and continue to gaze in the field of darkness lying in front of you with eyes closed, the quality of your concentration will continue to improve. This form of meditation is not stagnant. It's not about spending 30 years counting your breath. Same thing over and over again, just like yesterday, just like tomorrow. There is a spiritual progression that takes place. Each meditation is its own thing, and tomorrow's meditation might be slightly better than today's. It all comes down to concentration. One slowly ascends up this tunnel toward the light. So it's not a stagnant thing that's always the same every time. The more you concentrate, the longer you meditate, the better you are at it, the further you go on the journey of the soul. You may eventually notice the appearance of light or different colors. You might see red, white, green, blue, purple, orange, or golden light, clouds of light, suns, moons, or stars. The light could look something like fireflies, as spoken by yogis in the Bhagavad Gita, or sparks, shimmering light, or other kinds of light. At first, says Yogani Mataji, there will only be darkness, but eventually light shall appear in the form of either small flashes or small star-like points. That's Yogani Mataji from the book Enchanted Land. Now, just interjecting, one's own meditation experience is to be kept private. What I'm giving out here are general things. Yes, this meditation works, and here's the type of things that happen to people. But initiates are always told to not talk about the specifics of their own experience. And the reason for this is to keep ego out of it, to not have it become a corrupt thing used for marketing purposes or social status, or some people are higher and others are lower. The whole nightmare of ego, and also, in addition to not turning it into something corrupted by ego, the idea behind keeping your own personal experiences secret is to keep your experiences real. We have enough hard times staying authentic without having phantasmagoria or being given to imagination or assuming that something is divine when it's very human, like the white noise of a fan or a refrigerator motor running could sound like a high-pitched tone, but it's not a mystic sound, it's just an electronic sound. It's easy to become fooled. It's easy to get excited about Elvis to the point where he actually turns up in your dreams or in your visions. That can happen. The mind is a very mercurial, tricky thing, and it's very easy to mistake one phenomena for another. So, by keeping one's own personal experiences private and not hearing about other people's experience, the idea is to keep it real at all times, and not have one's meditation be contaminated by beliefs about what should, quote unquote, or should not be happening, what happens to other people, because we're all at our own unique place. No one has the same exact meditation or sees the exact same thing at the same time. So the idea is to keep that whole strong beliefs and pressures, expectations, all of those corrupting and contaminating factors out of the experience, so that what you experience within is genuinely what's going on within, not based on beliefs and fantasies and imaginations and conjuring something up that's purely a product of the mind, which can also happen. and is not cultivated on this path. Just pure silence and darkness and whatever light may manifest. That's the only light you want to see. No carnival circus atmosphere or UFO abductee expectations about what should be going on. All of that is taken away. The atmosphere is unpolluted. Thoughts about this whole subject remain very quiet and peaceful. No contamination within is the goal behind not talking about your own personal inner experiences with others. Stay tuned for more Spiritual Awakening Radio after these messages. Music donated to this program is from Paul Alexander John, a Maine musician who specializes in Indian classical ragas, often playing the bansuri flute, the Indian bansuri, bamboo flute, along with other musicians playing tablas. I had a chance to perform live with him once on radio with Paul Alexander John playing his bansuri flute, and instead of a drone instrument like harmonium or tambura, it was me playing this huge quartz crystal Tibetan bowl type instrument, producing this high frequency tone, and it worked so beautifully. It worked quite well and made for an interesting half-hour raga, Indian classical raga, only instead of a traditional instrument like tambura or harmonium, it was this high-frequency bowl sound, this high-frequency tone, and it was a lot of fun. On this week's program, we're exploring the book Philosophy of Liberation, and I'm just taking time at the very beginning of this new series of programs to describe the meditation practice, because the meditation practice advocated by Maharishi Mehi and other masters of India, it's all about the meditation, really. The meditation is the essence of the whole spiritual path. The tradition of Maharishi Mehi is very much like Quakerism, not much for external rites and rituals and anything like that. It's all pretty much within. The true temple, the true cathedral, the true mosque is within. In addition to encountering light beyond the darkness, one may also hear sound coming from beyond the silence. What some Buddhists have called the sound of silence, what Sants call the nada, or the shabda, or the audible life stream or sound current. For millennia, mystics have invented words in their own languages in their own regions of the world to describe this inner music. The sound of Christ, the Tao, nada, logos, music of the spheres, song of the Creator or song of creation, song lines, shabda, kalma, Dun, Santi Sarmad. It's a kind of cosmic radio signal, broadcasting everywhere in the cosmos. At first, when the soul, our receiver, tunes in, it may hear a faint tone or melody, ringing or hum. Eventually, the soul that meditates on the inner sound will become magnetized to it, will become one with it, will swim in this river of sound, will travel upon this current back to the source. This is known as Surat Shabd Yoga, which is not a yoga in the sense of like Hatha Yoga, which is more popular in the West. Not a yoga for the body, but yoga for the soul, with the third eye center being the launching pad, the focus. Another stage of meditation. Develop the habit. Return to this place, this state of good quality meditation, again and again and again. If you meditate on a daily basis, you will make tangible progress, and the wonders of inner space will be revealed to you more and more with each passing day. It's like anything else. If you do it every day, you become fluent in it, you become better at it, you make progress. I find it very humorous when someone says, they were just initiated 10 minutes ago, and here they are tweeting on the internet about how they haven't gotten very far in their meditation and they were expecting more. Well, like everything else in life, in this world and in the next, you have to spend a little time at it in all sincerity and give it an honest and true effort. And you return again and again, and it's not about how am I doing, on a scale of 1 to 10. You never want to engage in that sort of mental gymnastics. You really don't care if you're having a good meditation or not, and that leads to the success of having a good meditation. If you're constantly taking your temperature, it's kind of the same thing as trying to grow crops, but you keep on digging up the seeds every hour to see if they've sprouted yet and if they're growing or not, and pacing back and forth looking at your watch. You'd be a very terrible farmer if you treated your seeds that way. Meditation, the same with that also. You don't care about your results, or you're not attached to the results. You're committed to showing up every day, again and again and again, and you will get results. But not because you're constantly evaluating yourself, grading yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, or judging your spiritual teacher based on what you are doing in your own experience. You just keep on showing up again and again, each and every day, and that is what leads to success. Think of meditation as being like an astronomer. In the evening you fire up your telescope and you search. You begin your exploration, and sooner or later you will make discoveries. Not because you're only giving yourself 5 minutes to make a discovery, to win some sort of Nobel Prize, but you're dedicating years of your life to this exploration. And you may or you may not get a Nobel Prize, but you showed up, and that's pretty much, didn't Woody Allen say that once? 80% of life is showing up. It's certainly true. It's all about the doing it. It's all about doing the meditation. Not so much talking about the meditation or thinking about the meditation or constantly taking your temperature or evaluating. You continuously show up, and day after day, more and more will be revealed as you begin your own personal exploration into the world of inner space.